Hey! Alright, well, I thought I'd throw a quick video up here on the Social Security Trust Fund and the concept of chain CPI. I found I found a lot of stuff on this one, so there's going to be a whole bunch of links. Uh, I guess, well, let's get started, huh? Let's see here. I found an article from money.usnews.com, which basically explains what CPI is and how it would work. Um, I really enjoyed their example here, just because it's kind of funny. Um, let's see here. The chain CPIU represents the latest stage in the development of our cost of living measures and improves on the CPIU by accounting for how customers substitute among goods when the price changes of those when the price changes of those goods vary. Says blah 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 Commissioner Bureau and Labor Statistics. For example, a worker typically spends $80 a week on gasoline and experiences a 10% increase in gas prices, has seen their current cost of living increase by $8 per week. But that consumer could also decide to cut back on driving and ride the bus occasionally. I love this example because, it's like, oh, well, yeah, you could just go ride a bus. But what they're effectively saying here is what they want to do is take the cost of living increases away from Social Security and replace them with this chain CPI. And this chain CPI basically says, oh, well, yeah, you could buy that loaf of bread, but a can of cat food's a lot cheaper. So the consumer could choose to buy a can of cat food over the loaf of bread. Therefore, they have a better alternative choice, which is like their example here. Their example is just hilarious to me. A typical worker spends $80 per week on gasoline. Per week on gasoline. This is ridiculous. I don't know anybody that spends that much a week on gasoline. Maybe they're projecting gasoline to go up a whole lot, which of course it is. But and then a 10% increase in gas would be an $8 per week increase. So their cost of living went up. So basically, they're trying to eliminate cost of living raises from Social Security and replace them with this insane CPI program, which would basically decrease the amount of money over time that you would receive from Social Security as a retiree, which is just terrible because you living off of Social Security ain't easy. So yeah, here's an article on that, talking about that. The reason they want to do this is they feel it's believed that the Social Security Trust Fund will become insolvent, by 2033. So why don't we go to the Social Security website, providing this link down here along with a whole lot of other links. So yeah, let's go there. The thing I love about this is a press release from by the Board of Trustees of the Social Security Trust Fund. This is an interesting thing, mostly because it's amazing what's here. The combined trust fund reserves are still growing and will continue to do so through 2020. Beginning in 2021, the cost of the program is projected to exceed income. So what's that? What are they saying there? So the trust fund, the amount of money in the fund, which it keeps going up. So I made a previous video where I said that they had a $2.6 trillion surplus in the fund. Well, that's gone up to $2.73 trillion. So the amount of money in the fund has increased, not decreased. And according to this report, that is going to continue to do so until 2020. So the fund is going to continue to go up from 2.73 trillion to 3 trillion, maybe 4 trillion by 2020 of assets within the fund. And then in 2021, the tax revenue coming in is projected to decrease to the point where they'll start having to tap the fund itself, the actual reserve fund, and they'll have to start paying benefits out through that. And they project by 2033 that they'll burn through that fund, which is probably going to be $4 trillion of saved assets by then. And somehow they're going to burn through this fund, and they will only be able to pay 77% of scheduled benefits based off of perceived taxes that they'll be collecting in 2033. Which is just a weird thing to think about. So they're perceiving what the tax revenue is going to be based off of what they're getting off of Social Security, the payroll tax, in 2023, and their perceived calculations will say that they're going to be only able to pay 77% of scheduled benefits. That's just kind of weird to think about. They're basically looking into the future and saying, well, we won't have the money based off of current payroll tax rates, which makes you wonder. Okay, let's assume you're correct. What is the projected deficit? What's the problem here? So their projected deficit is 2.72%. So basically, let's just round that up. A 3% deficit is what it is in the payroll tax for over a 75-year time frame. So one, you could increase the payroll tax by 3%, which would solve this problem. Another thing you could do, which another link I'm providing, because why not provide a whole bunch of links here, let's see here. I believe it's that one. And yeah, I'm providing all these links so you can read it yourself. That is really kind of stupid. They have $2.73 trillion surplus right now, and it's projected to grow until 2020. And that's with nothing changed. So it's not decreasing, it's increasing. The fund is increasing, which is just ridiculous. The arguments for cutting Social Security and all this stuff is just blatantly, obviously it's false. But it's really kind of irritating when you can go to the site, you can go to the Social Security website and see that their projected income is going to increase until 2020. The fund is going to grow, not shrink. So that's just irritating. Anyhow, I'm also providing a Huffington Post article, 5 Ways to Fix Social Security. Of course, they said an increase of 1% tax was one way to fix it. So the 7.2%, increasing from 6.2% to 7.2%, would help fix the Social Security problem. But another thing they could do is eliminate the cap that currently exists on the payroll taxes. So if you make 1,100 or yeah, $100,013,700. That's the cap. So all income after that is just not taxed into the Social Security Trust Fund. Why is that? I don't know. That's a weird cap. There's no point in it. Why do we have a cap on this? It doesn't make sense. So yeah, eliminate the cap. That would be helpful. But yeah, there's a random cap at that amount where the tax of 6.2% just kind of stops, and they don't pay taxes after that because I guess they're ruling elite after that. So why pay taxes? So yeah, there's an endeavor to basically cut Social Security and alter the benefit structure for no reason. It's stupid. I've been seeing a lot of people posting all sorts of crazy things online that Social Security's $100 trillion in deficit, and it's impossible to pay that, and blah 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 blah. I I have no idea where they. I don't know where these numbers are coming from. Like 100, like why not just say, oh, Social Security is $5 quadrillion in deficit. I mean, it's not in deficit, and it's not projected to even go into deficit until 2020. And even then, it's going to be going into the trust fund reserves, which will be probably $3 to $4 trillion by then. That's just the reserve funds. That's not the money coming in. That's just what they got now. So yeah, this is a bunch of stupid bullshit. Organized labor is basically just not having this. They're putting up a fight. So the FLCIO basically issued a shot across the bow of the Democratic Party saying, if you guys cut this or try to do change CPI or whatever wacky program you want to do to screw people out of their Social Security, we will fight you. They will fund challengers to push out Democrats that decide to go against the Social Security Trust Fund. It's sad that they have to do that, and it's if you think about it, the Democratic Party is the only party that even remotely tries to protect Social Security. The Republicans have been trying to destroy it for a while now. Bush wanted to privatize it, which would have been disastrous considering the Great Recession occurred because of, well, his stupid economic policies, deregulating banks and stuff. But whatever, who cares? But yeah, if Social Security Trust Fund had been privatized, the assets would have been liquidated in the Great Recession. I mean, if you were a Marxist, I guess that. I mean, if you're a Marxist, that'd be a great thing because everybody would be woken up immediately, and you'd have a proletarian revolution because everybody would be bankrupt and poor, and all there would be is really, really rich people and really, really poor people. So bank bailouts. No, the banks would be burnt to the ground, and like this country would be in full blown war. So yeah, it's a good thing. Social Security didn't get privatized. Anyhow. Labor is going to try to push the Democrats out. Democrats that decide to go against labor's interests, which of course I'm a worker, so I'm labor. Well, yeah. Anyhow, labor's threatening the Democrats for basically their betrayal of the working class. I wish they could threaten the Republicans. I don't see how they could do it, mostly because, like I said, the Republicans are crazy. But yeah, you have I don't know. like, I hope they're able to mount a decent defense against these efforts. Chain CPI is really stupid. I've actually found a conservative article by let's see, what was it? Forbes. So I'm linking that article down below as well. The Forbes article, I mean, it's interesting. Of course, the writer is a hardcore conservative. He believes in privatization. He gives a reasonable outlook for a conservative. Not really looking at the fact that you could just increase the taxes of the payroll by like 1% and solve the problem. But whatever. He doesn't seem to care about that. In fact, he doesn't seem to care about anything. If you read his article, it's really kind of weird. But yeah, I mean, he says, and he used the words regressive, that chain CPI is stupid and regressive. And that's coming from a conservative. So that article's down below too, along with all the links to the Social Security trust fund information. I'm also linking an incredibly long budgetary explanation of basically Social Security. I'm also linking a thing on the disability insurance portion of Social Security, which is a separate trust fund, although it can borrow money from the pensioner trust fund and vice versa. In fact, I think it was in 1983 or four, one of those years, money was borrowed from the disability trust fund into the general Social Security trust fund, and then was paid back later. Blah blah blah. So yeah, that type of swap of money is happening all the time. The interesting thing about the disability stats is the amount of the deficit. It's not in the billions. It's in the millions. So I mean, it's again, that's something that could be easily fixed just through general taxation, or just I mean, it's millions. It's in the millions, not the billions. Yet alone trillions of dollars of losses. So yeah, this is all a bunch of stupid bullshit. And I'm not a fan of it. So anyhow, a lot of links below. Hope you like reading. Um, Hopefully the labor movement can push back against Democrats that want to do this. I don't know. But in the end, it's all a bunch of stupid bullshit. So yeah, the trust fund is fine. It's growing and it's going to grow until 2020. And the fixes are just stupid easy. But there's such massive opposition to, or at least in the ruling elite, to any type of social programs that benefit the working class, that they might be able to pull off a cut or an alteration chain CPI, because chain CPI is technically not a cut. It's just a different way of adjusting the income over time, which would suck for old people. So yeah, I'm gonna leave all those down below.